I'm Scott Brown, a civil engineer working on the Nagambie bypass. I was married for 12 months and got separated, fell into a little bit of a hole and sought some help through work, and this is my story. It's a $110 million job. There's 6 bridges on the job. This is one of them, Racecourse Road Bridge. It's about 18 months and we'll have this completed. Goes the driver, we're talking to that next scraper, letting him know where he wants him. You don't want to be having a bad day, you want to be focused, know what's going on, know what everyone is expecting of you and where they're wanting you to be and expecting you to be, because if you're in the wrong position, it wouldn't take much to have a little bit of a collision or an incident or something like that. Marriage to me means a lot, and as it does to most people, so it's about a commitment and a partnership. But working away from home brought a lot of issues out between us. The types of emotions that started boiling or started festering away was, I guess it was probably fear was probably the first one. You could sort of smell it a mile off, you get that gut feel, you know things aren't right. Trying to talk to her about that was tough, being away, because it's always easy to do that sort of stuff in person, I think. You're playing the last conversation you had over in your mind over and over, and you're just beating yourself up about little snippets of it. I was pretty up and down. I remember one day there, the phone reception on the job was terrible, and I had 80 cubes of concrete on the road, and we weren't ready for it. We needed to put a hold on and that sort of stuff. And I remember smashing my phone one day just on the concrete, and it was just totally out of character. I surprised myself that I'd let it build up that much. The space that I was in then was just terrible. When you start explaining what's going on with your relationship to your parents, I sort of inadvertently realised that was the first time I'd probably acknowledged to myself that there's a problem. One of the first things they said was, look, we're not counsellors, we know what we can tell is wrong with you, but we don't quite know how to help you through it, apart from support you in anything that you do. So they quickly were on to, Mum was hell-bent, especially near the end, that I needed to go and see a counsellor.
We've had 4 proof holes this morning, mate, everything's passed.
Yep.
We'll bang 4 more layers in today. Test is booked.
I think the first few times she'd mentioned it, I'd sort of fobbed it off. I thought, nah, I'll be right, she'll be right, I got my mates around and be able to manage it. You start thinking about what you're doing and how out of character it is, and deciding whether that's what you want to be carrying on like. Got onto this counsellor through my manager, and he come in and just was pretty flexible in the times, and we just did it in an office. Made me feel pretty comfortable. We just had a cup of tea and just to chat about things. With the divorce, I felt a bit like a failure, a bit like, I hadn't been able to make a marriage work. He asks questions. He poses a few different scenarios as to what might have happened and why it's not necessarily all your fault and all that sort of stuff. And where to from here is a little bit what he's interested in as well. He was sort of asking, so what do you enjoy doing outside of work, and what are you going to do to get your mind off things? Can of water. Yeah. Can of water. He said, your friends will always be supportive. You've got to be a bit wary about relying on your friends for things. So, and he was quite right. You can try it out. If you're not having a good time about something and you want to feel good about yourself, the first thing you do is ring your mates. Sometimes you need to be told things straight, and a counsellor, if your parents aren't around or you haven't got a friend that can do that, then a counsellor is often a good way to be told what you need to be told. Book in and see a doctor or something?
Didn't even care who knew that I was getting help. The fact is that it really helped.
Sometimes it just helps that people know and care.
Yeah, that's So, chat to the boys. And
certainly none of my friends have ever mentioned it to me in a derogatory way or anything.
Yep.
It is that macho culture. Often hard to get guys to put their hand up and sort of accept that they might not be
100% on their game. They might need a bit of help. I'd hate to think any of those guys out there on the gear are not 100% focused on what they're doing. I know that I stand near them sometimes, and yeah, I like to see them with a smile on their face, not with a distant look in their eye. Someone can tell you've got a broken arm or a broken ankle or whatever, because they can see it, but it's only you can see what's going on inside your head, and you've really got to listen to yourself and know yourself. As soon as you acknowledge that you've got a problem, then it's a lot easier to accept that you might need some professional help. After you've been and seen a counsellor and got a lot of things off your chest and got a few new perspectives and some tools on how to deal with things, you just feel so good. Learning about myself is probably the biggest thing that I got out of it. My sort of philosophy on dealing with things now, if I've had a shocking day at work where nothing's going right and everything's going wrong, I'll go home and go for a run or a bike ride and just clear the head. I'm back to where the sort of person that I want to be again, and it really, I think it did come down to seeing that counsellor and taking that step.